What is going on, everyone? Kevin here for Channel Manalik, running an 8-4 draft, and we've opened an Advent of the Worm, so that seems like a pretty good reason to try to jump into some Selesnya action. I do think I'm going to try to... I guess you could splash this, for sure, in a deck that is running green, because of the double green. So you could splash it in any green X deck, but your main color probably has to be green to run this card. But it's pretty sick. That's what I'm going to take. I'm passing some good green cards, which isn't great. The Crisis Incubation, the Bronze Beak Mower are both pretty good. Alive and Well's not bad, and Crawl Warrior's good. But I'm going to go ahead and just take it up anyway. Flesh and Blood. It seems pretty good. I've never actually played with Flesh and Blood, but it seems pretty good. It's going to be 7 to be able to run it. So here, looks like an uncommon was pulled from this pack. Hard to know what that is. Some good cards here. I think the Zertod Druid's pretty strong. Obviously, I'm not the only one who thinks that. Everyone knows that's a pretty good card. It does kind of put you into red. It's not really a great splash card. The Gorgon I like a lot. Obviously, it's more of a control-y kind of card, but it's always been very good against me. And I could play green-black. Plus, I could splash either of these cards if I take it, so it's not too color-intensive over taking like a Crawl Warrior. But it is more defensive. I think here I'm going to take the Crawl Warrior and just know that I can play it in my color. And there's a Tristani Summoner, so we may just go straight Selesnya. Although, again, Tristani Summoner is even more splashable than Advent of the Worm. I also like the Moss Dog, so we are passing some good green cards, and the Beetleform Mage, of course. So passing some Simic green cards, which is okay. If it wasn't for this Tristani Summoner, I would snap up the Moss Dog. I actually like the Moss Dog a lot, but we're going to take the Summoner here. Hope that the good Selesnya cards keep coming. The Mastiff would be fine here. We're going to take up another Crawl Warrior. Again, Zertod Druid's good. Already passed one, and hopefully we can just pick up some Selesnya as we go. Jesus, we could have 3 Zertod Druids. That's a whole lot of Zertod Druids, my friends. But I don't see any reason to veer from the course at the moment. We can just pick up this Armored Wolf Rider. We don't want too many like 5 drops, 6 drops, 7 drops, but a 4/6 is actually a pretty reasonable body, and there's no reason to switch over now. Already passed 3 of them. Well, that makes the 3rd. Don't have any gates for like a Ceruli Gatekeepers. It's fine as a 2/4 for 4, I guess. Nothing really good in this pack for us. Looks like maybe this is Weapon Search is okay, although I wouldn't say that means that red's open. The best card's probably the Rakdos Drake. There's some fixing here. Doesn't look like we're probably going to be playing black or red. I think I'm just going to pick up the Gatekeepers. Alrighty, I'm just going to pick up another Armored Wolf Rider. It's reasonable. We're just going to go pretty much all in on the Selesnya, but here I am going to pick up the Azorius Cluestone. There's nothing else here. Mutant's Prey is not probably going to do anything for us, and this way we can splash blue if we get something. I'm perfectly fine picking up the Boros Mastiff. Phytoburst is actually better than it seems, I think, as either they waste remove spell on one of your not so good guys, or they take an extra 5 damage, which isn't bad, so that's fine. The Cluestone would be fine too in case we want to splash red, but here I'm just going to take the 2-drop. So far this deck looks pretty reasonable, really. I like the Crawl Warriors a lot. The Mastiff's fine. Hopefully we get some pretty late and good RTR Selesnya cards. That's the hope, but we will just run it out there and see what happens. I mean, the Wolf Riders aren't amazing, but, you know, they're 4/6. They can block Golgari Longlegs and things like that and live to tell the tale, barring tricks. The Summoner I think is pretty sweet. Gatekeepers are just especially if we don't have any gates. The Advent's obviously very good, and the 2-drops, two of the 2-drops are pretty good. The Mastiff's just okay, but a 2, it's a bear with possible upside, so I'm okay with that. This deck looks like I probably want to stay 2 colors for the most part. Yeah, I think that's probably true. The Gorgon did wheel. Wow, that's a pretty late Rubber Belt Maka too. Rubber Belt Maka is good. I'm not really sure why this guy's still here. Normally I don't like the Maze Behemoth, but in this deck, I guess this guy's already got trample. This guy does not, but 4 power, he's probably not going to give a lot of trample. The Maka is super good, but I'm going to pick up the Gorgon in case we splash some sort of black, I guess. The Maka is very good. I could take the Cluestone in case I want to play blue, but I'm just going to take the Mythic there. And there is a Maze Behemoth, so I still can play it if I want to. I think this is one of the worst maze creatures. I like the blue one with the flying and the black one with the Death Touch a lot better. But in this deck, we have some multicolored creatures. I guess just the Wolf Riders, but alright, we'll snap up the Phyto Burst. That could make the deck, I suppose. The Gorgon's probably not going to make it, but I think it has enough upside that I'd rather take it there than ship it down the way. Plus, maybe it'll make people not want to jump into our colors. And hey, if you're going to play Simic, why not, or Selesnya, why not open an Angelic Skirmisher? And this also goes very good with our plan of just sticking with green and white cards, because double white's not really a splash you can make, but yeah, there's not really any. Let's see what else is here. Guardian's also very good. Yeah, Assault Griffin would be fine. There's some decent cards in here, but the Skirmisher is for sure the pick. Not probably going to run an Immortal Servitude in this deck here. We could take like a weenie drop here. I think Pit Fight's actually pretty good in this deck. We're probably not going to have a ton of removal, and it works pretty good with the Advent of the Worm and the Armored Wolf Riders and some of our big guys. So I think Pit Fight's the pick here. Obviously Kingpin's Pet's very good. Core Street Denizen's pretty good too. But I think right now we need removal. These guys seem to go kind of late. We do have kind of a lot of white creatures, but I think Pit Fight's got to be the pick here. Alright, so I could take just a 2-drop who's not going to do much else in our deck, which is okay. Burst of Strength isn't bad at all. This doesn't look like a deck that needs Prophetic Prism since I'm very, very green and white at the moment. In fact, yeah, pretty green and white. And I'm pretty happy staying that way. I did take the Orzhov Guildgate and try to splash like a Crow's to Gargan, but I don't think it's probably really worth doing that. I think I'd rather just have the 2/2, possibly the Trick. No, I think I just want to be aggressive with lots of creatures and just curve out nicely, so I think I'm just going to take the 2/2 here. The Burst of Strength would be my second choice, I think. And I'm just probably not going to play this Crow's to Gargan, which is fine. Yeah, I think that's fine. So it looks like the Orzhov cards are actually pretty open. Not that High Priest is crazy sick or anything, but it's pretty good. Also, it's a pretty late Drakewing Krasis, so sometimes it's pretty hard to tell. Felt like I passed a lot of pretty good Simic cards, like the Krasis Incubation I passed in Pack 1. So you'd think one of the people to our left would have taken that, but yeah, I guess not. Not really anything for what we're trying to do in this pack. Probably, like I said, I mean, I could splash like a Krasis with a Cluestone. That's one possibility. The other possibility is just snap up and naturalize, which actually might see some play in this format. Lots of difficult to deal with enchantments. I think I'll just pick up the Krasis if there's lots of things that require me to, if 4 more Krasis come our way, then maybe we'll have to get some blue in there. Pretty happy to pick up actually either one of these cards right here. The Skyjack though is just too good, and our early game is actually looking like it might be pretty aggressive, so the Skyjack's going to be the pick here. I like Assault Griffin a lot, actually, but I think in this deck where I have already 4 good 2-drops, just being able to get to this guy quickly is probably better. The other thing is possibly taking the Assault Griffin, because something like this might wheel around because it's not that good in a deck that's not very aggressive. But I think I'm just going to try to keep on the pressure with the aggression here. So yeah, it looks like no one's Simic. Lots of good blue cards here. Some pretty good red cards too, actually. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just let the Shamble Shark go, though. I'm not trying to jump into Simic. I just felt like the Drakewing Krasis was worth a pickup there. If there's really sick Azorius cards, you know, I can play this just as easily as I could play any other blue-white flyer, really. But I think I'm just going to pick up the Nav Squad Commandos. I don't want a ton of 5-drops. I'm going to hide the Gorgon. I already have 2 in the Armored Wolf Riders, and I think they're just better than this guy, but I don't really want any of the other stuff, so yeah. Some good red card, not the Hindervines, the Ember Beast and the Grilled Charm, of course, both very good. Nothing in here for us. We could take a Wildwood Rebirth, I guess. Like chump block with a Tristani Summoner and get it back and recast it or something, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm just going to take one of these cards and just take it out of the pack, because none of this stuff's really going to be playable for me. I don't want to play this card, so I don't mind hate drafting something over something I'm not going to play. And I guess I'll pull out the Ember Beast. Wow. So really all the only cards we're not seeing are green and white cards for the most part. Emerald Oculus is good, and Ember Beast is of course both pretty good, but I'm going to pick up the Simic Guildgate. I do have fixing if I want to play blue, so I'm just going to take it. So not really anything came back for us out of this pack, which is a little disappointing. I think there were quite a few playable cards in here. I could take the Adaptive Snapjaw, but I already have 3 5-drops that I like better than the Adaptive Snapjaw. I think I'd rather just take the Trick here. And the Naturalize came back, so we will take that now. I guess Mortis Strider's the most annoying, maybe? So yeah, this pack didn't go great. I could play a Forced Adaptation, but you don't expect that pack to go great, so that's fine. We have some pretty nice green and white cards going right here between Advent and Skirmisher, which is probably why I will just not play blue at all. Because our deck actually looks pretty good in green and white, so why ruin your mana unless there's just something that basically says you have to play it. And even though I like Krasis, that's not enough for me to play blue. So is Archon enough for me to want to play blue is the question. Archon's pretty good. It's Archon, or probably like Common Bond? I mean, I like Common Bond, but Archon, I mean, I could just play a Simic Guildgate and a Cluestone, play Archon. Archon's really pretty good. Let's see, we have 13 creatures. I'd like this Common Bond. It'll maybe come back. The Long Legs wouldn't be terrible, although I'm at 5-drops already. If I play this, I will play the Cluestone. There's a Guildgate and a Keyrune too. One of those might come back to help me splash this card. I'll play that and a Drakewing Krasis, I guess. I think it's good enough that it's worth taking. I don't want to screw up my mana, but I think splashing Archon is probably worth it. I do not want to go too crazy on the blue card. So even though I love Dramatic Rescue, I don't think I want to go that way. I think maybe like 1 blue card, 2 possibly. With that being said, there's nothing that amazing in this pack. Like, I don't want to play another 7-drop. I already have 2 7-drops. 2 should be plenty. So I could basically just take the Selesnya Sentry, and I don't have any 3-drops, so it's pretty unexciting. And Rootborn Defenses actually might work with one of my cards, but I'm going to take the Selesnya Sentry. I might not even play blue. I just wanted... This Archon is worth picking up here, I think. And in fact, if I take this Risen Sanctuary here, which is pretty good in my deck, actually, maybe I just want removal. I don't really have any removal at the moment. Let me hide the cards I don't want to play. Let's just pretend we're not going to play that. Don't really want to play the Ceruli Gatekeepers. I won't play the Azorius Cluestone. If we just play... I'm going to leave this one out, but if we just play non-blue cards, we have like 15 cards in our deck right now. I kind of think I might just want this Tristani's Judgment. It works good with the couple tokens we have. This guy might wheel, probably not, but I don't think I need another 7-drop, and even though this is a 6, I kind of want the removal, so that's what I'm going to do. So here again, I have an option of picking up a Key Rune to try to play an Archon, or just picking up the 3-drop in a deck with no 3-drops, and I think that's what I'm going to do. I still am not certain about playing this Archon. I mean, it's really good, but yeah, I just noticed the thing he's flying on kind of looks like the dog from Neverending Story. Anybody remember that movie? Anybody? Am I too old? Anybody? Neverending Story? So I think I'm just going to pass up the Key Rune and take the Vassal Soul. I'd prefer to stick in just green and white. And there's another Risen Sanctuary and another Tristani's Judgment and an Azorius Justiciar. I think I'm going to take the second Tristani's Judgment. I don't really have any removal. I like Avenging Arrow just fine. The Justiciar is fine, especially because I'm pretty aggressive. In fact, maybe I want the Justiciar. I got 5 2-drops and 2 3-drops. A pretty sick. No, I think I want the Tristani's Judgment. This guy would be good. In fact, hopefully one of those will wheel. Maybe? I don't know. That might be a little bit too hopeful. And the Justiciar is pretty good. Maybe that's what I should be doing. But my mid to late game is pretty good too, so I kind of just want the Judgment. Jeez. Utvara. Utvara Hellkite. If I were red, I would totally play that card, by the way. But I'm not, and I'm not. So it's Seller of Songbirds. Alright, definitely no amazing Selesnya cards in here. I don't want to play the Axebane Stag. Clearly that's just much worse of a 7-drop than the 8/8 Vigilance guy, which I passed, obviously, but I think that's just considerably worse. All these are not amazing. I guess I could take the Tower Drake and not probably play it, but I guess it's possible if I run out of playables. Well, now with the Gate Creeper fine. I like the Arrestor. It's just fine. But I think with the Gate Creeper Vine, maybe I play the Gate Creeper Vine. I have 1 gate I can get, plus I can go and get like 1 or 2 islands, and then maybe I just play this Archon. It's probably worth playing. It does kind of go against my aggression plan, where the Arrestor is actually pretty aggressive. So, you know what? I think I'm just going to not play blue. I'm going to take this Arrestor and just try to be really aggressive. Okay, my Common Bond wheeled. So not taking this Archon's probably not going to hurt all that bad. I like the 5-drop, but we're already looking pretty heavy in 5 and 6s, and Common Bond's a welcome addition. I'm probably not playing any of those, but the Archweaver can get in the deck. None of those are too amazing for me. So I think actually I'm just going to not play that Archon and just not play the Tower Drake, and we'll just run straight Selesnya. Maybe we are short, maybe a couple playables. We might have to play something like Fido Burst for mana purposes, which isn't amazing, but the cards we have look pretty good, I think. Selesnya Sentry is not amazing, but you know, its ability is not too shabby. And regenerating it costs the same as giving this guy +3/+3, whatever that's worth. Okay. Alrighty, so these are the 21 I'm going to run. I've decided for mana purposes, especially with a couple double green, double white cards, and just the fact that I have some pretty sick cards, I want to make sure that I don't lose to drawing an island or something when I don't need to. I considered playing like the Azorius Cluestone, the Simic Guildgate, and like just the Archon, which I think is reasonable, but I don't think this deck is lacking for power. It has a very strong early game. It's got a couple tricks, so just the Common Bond and the Aerial Maneuver, a little bit of removal with the Pit Fight, and then late game removal with Rustani's Judgments, and the Skirmisher is just a beating. So I think even though these cards are pretty good, and there are games where I would like to play them, a 7-drop, this is definitely a 7-drop Bomby, but I think the deck's good enough without it. So basically, it's trying to pick 2 other cards to play. I'm already so heavy, I don't really want the Archweaver, I don't think I need it. We don't have a ton of flying creatures, but the point is that we should be able to get in there and win, hopefully before, you know, our creatures should be beefy enough, the flyers can't really be that big of an issue, is the hope. So, I'm going to play 2 more. Got a Cerule Gatekeepers, who's just going to be a 2/4 in our deck, which is not exciting, but the extra creature is not bad. I think that's going to be one of the 2 cards. And then I think it's either Fido Burst or Forced Adaptation, and with the early game we have, I think maybe Fido Burst. I haven't really ran it. I've seen it run a few times, and it seemed better than you would think. I mean, you could put it on, you know, like an Arrestor. And so if they want to use a removal spell on your Arrestor, they can, or they can take 7, or they can chump block. Of course, that's an option too, but either way, it's probably going to either do a lot of damage or be a 1-for-1. If there's not any removal in our opponent's deck, we'll probably run in a Forced Adaptation or a Naturalize, but that's what we're going to do. We're going to run it this way. This is pretty aggressive, but that's probably a good thing, and hopefully we can take advantage of our good mana, what I hope to be good mana. Let's do a count here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18 white. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 green. So definitely white heavy. And let's see, we got 1, 2, 3. We got 3 white 2-drops and 3 green 2-drops. All our 3-drops are mostly white, and this one's a double white. So we definitely want to be more plains. And 9/7 is actually, that's still not enough. We get 1 more. So do we want to go 9/8 or 10/7? I don't want to miss an Advent of the Worm. Really, I don't want to miss anything. Don't want to sound greedy, but I want to be able to cast everything all the time. Let's see. So, yeah. Basically, that's not what I was trying to grab. Basically, still not what I was trying to grab. Come on, it even highlighted in green. So basically, that's what we're looking at. Oh, that one goes down there too. So 9/8 or 10/7 is the answer. Is not the answer. It's the question. Questions. You've got questions. We've got answers. Tough call, I think. Tough call. I guess, I mean, all our 3-drops are white, and we have 1 double white. We don't want to get stuck on the Advent. I guess 10/7 is probably fine. No, I think I'd rather go 9/8. 9/8 it is. We're going to go to round 1, and I'll see you there. Hopefully this goes good. I feel pretty good about this deck. I like to try to analyze the decks before I go into the games, because it's easy to look at a deck after you win or after you lose and say, oh, that was an amazing deck. But I think Our mid game seems pretty solid, and our early game seems pretty good. The only way the biggest thing that'll probably give us issues is if they have some sort of ground stall and flyers, then we might be in trouble. But the hope is the Advent, the Tristani Summoner, and the Tristani's Judgments hopefully will get us there, along with some of the common bonds. So we'll go to round 1, and hopefully it goes well. I feel pretty good with the deck regardless of what happens.